Thank you. Dr. Townsend, Mr. O'Keefe, President O'Donnell, Father Spitzer, Reverend Fathers, faculty, staff, family, friends, and fellow graduates, it is my honor to welcome you to these commencement exercises on behalf of the class of 2019. I dedicate my speech to Father O'Keefe for his loving presence in our community. May he remain forever in our hearts and prayers, although I suspect we're already in his. First, to my class, a group of astronomically intelligent, driven, and capable students who have accomplished so much over the past 4 years. I am exceedingly privileged to represent us today. No brief address could begin to convey my class's appreciation for our education. However, I must extend a special acknowledgement to our brilliant and beloved professors. Aquinas writes, "For even as it is better to enlighten than merely to shine, so it is better to pass on to others the fruits of one's contemplation than merely to contemplate." I must agree. Receiving the fruit of your wisdom for 4 years has been both illuminative and enlivening. On behalf of my entire class, I would like to offer you our most ardent gratitude. As I reflected upon the meaning of this occasion, I recalled a memory from my studies in Rome. I was often enthralled by the beauty of Rome's churches, which are covered with detailed statues and adorned with stunning artwork. I remember walking on a pilgrimage through the city and musing upon what a privilege it would be to press my fingertips into the mold for a sculpture or carefully delineate the lines of our Savior's face in an altarpiece fresco that would hang suspended above the celebration of the Eucharist for centuries. To beautify the home of God would be a breathtaking responsibility. Music, art, sculpture, and writing allow us to participate in the eternal, transcendent beauty of God by making his order and balance present in our material world. To sanctify the earth in this way is our vocation. In fact, Joseph Cardinal Ratzinger writes that the only really effective apologia for Christianity comes down to 2 arguments, namely, the saints the church has produced and the art which has grown in her womb. In Rome, as I glanced around me at my companions, I had an abrupt realization. Even though I have not been given the opportunity to paint a fresco in the nave of a cathedral, I have been allowed to both appreciate and affect what is far more radiant than any painting, the souls of others. Our everyday interactions with those around us form the core of how we learn to relate to God, and merely loving each other refashions our wills. As Aquinas writes, a certain imprint results of the thing loved in the affection of the lover. Through encouragement, acts of charity, fraternal correction, and empathy, our fingerprints are embedded in one another's beating hearts, which are meant to bear the sacred presence of the Lord, just like living tabernacles. Each of us, by living in communities, in this community, have been given the immeasurable honor of building up one another in Christ's love, expanding our souls into cathedrals for his glory. The bricks and mortar of our love have thus constructed chapels which will outlive any perceived by the eyes. How incredible is this beautiful gift to affect how an immortal human person experiences the beatific vision for all eternity. Cardinal Ratzinger writes that Catholics must make their church into a place where beauty, and hence truth, is at home. I believe that we have accomplished this task at Christendom College, and it is our privilege now to expand this mentality into our vocations in the world. Love is just a word until you behold it lived, and there are many who have never imagined charity and personalism as they exist here. Wounded so deeply, they may be unreceptive to the message conveyed by an imperious quarry stone basilica, but our comportment and, more importantly, compassion will take them by surprise. Therefore, as we graduate, we must be committed with undying confidence and earnestness in our desire to share selfless love with a world filled with shattered hearts. With integrity, a harmony of life and mission, and the splendid charity of mind that surrounds the virtuous person, we can become living icons written by God and by one another, enabling others to encounter the transcendent and beautiful within us, especially through life's most mundane experiences. As Pope Francis writes, only what is loved can be saved, and only what is embraced can be transformed. What more sublime calling could there be in any form to worship God than by healing the souls of those whom he loves? This ministry will require both endurance and unshakable confidence in our Creator, and I believe that this is why we need our commencement ceremony today. By taking a moment to reflect on who we were 4 years ago, we inevitably recognize the intense transformation that God has wrought within us, and this will be the fuel for our trust, courage, and hope. His constant cultivation of our souls reveals his love. If he can transform us into the men and women that we are today, he can be trusted to lead us through each challenge we shall face in the future. This journey at Christendom College has been exceptionally pedagogical. When we came, we were mere individuals, but now we are a living body of students, alumni, professors, family, donors, and so many more, guided by the same mission for the rest of our lives. We are no longer alone, and we should take this moment to remember to be grateful for this home that we now share. 4 years ago, I could not have conceived of myself as the person who stands before you today, nor anticipated the extent of the joy and pride that I feel for you, my community, for simply being who you are is incredible. As Aquinas writes, the spiritual fruit of our studies is a vehement joy. Let this joy be our message to the world. This, then, is my final point. We must remember that we are beautiful and have the confidence to radiate this beauty. We are called to be the living stones of the church, building up the heart of Christ, throbbing with gratitude for our journey and trusting in his love so that we can communicate joy with an explosion of energy and vitality. As St. Paul says, you yourselves are our letter of recommendation, to be known and read by all men, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of human hearts. Thus, I invite all of us to view this commencement as a moment of necessary and fruitful introspection and communication about our own process of growth, the pedagogy we have experienced, and the beauty of the love that we have been enabled to share. We have the unique human privilege of affecting those around us with our presence in ways that will persist for all eternity. Take advantage of every opportunity to do so that when we greet one another in heaven, we can thank one another for leaving our fingerprints. Thank you very much.